Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 28, Diplomacy Part 3. Waking up holding my hand on my head, Nadine had already prepared a treatment for me. Rather than the usual potion for assisting in focus, she gave me something for nerves. It stopped the shaking and the headache, but did nothing to improve my appetite. I had to force myself to eat. I just wasn't hungry anymore, but I knew that if I didn't eat, I'd get weak. I had to try and force down the food. After I had gotten over my shakes, we geared up and headed back towards the Lemco village.
So you're back, just like you said you'd be.
I was greeted by the elder. Yeah, I had a bit of a problem, but it's taken care of for the moment.
So, whippersnapper, what's your brilliant idea for dealing with the Romac, eh?
She asked. A show of force.
What's that supposed to mean?
Simple. Your tribe is a group of warriors. Since you've been able to eat and have gotten medical treatment, we arm ourselves and head for the Romac.
So we're gonna attack them and take the land for ourselves?
The elder questioned. Possibly. Judging from what I know of your kind, you wouldn't just go to war for no reason, and attacking a warrior tribe is a bad move. We're gonna find out what happened.
What do you mean?
If we show up in the village, warriors and pirates, in a display of force, they'll have no choice but to tell us what's going on. If they really are trying to wipe your tribe out, then we'll defeat them. But if that's not the case, if they have a problem that they can't deal with, then we'll help them with it and restore relationships between the tribes.
So they're stealing food from us and you want us to help them?
She said incredulously. If they have a food shortage, that would mean they've had to go to other lands to feed their own people. If they're trapped, then yes. By helping them, it opens up negotiations. If they're just being greedy, then we'll invade. But we need to figure out what's happening first. This will only work if you follow my lead and take your commands from me. I don't need anyone acting out ahead of time. If it comes down to it, I have to be the one to give the order to attack. Understand? You're not part of our tribe. Why should we trust you? Why should we do anything you say? One of the younger cats voiced his opinion, clearly speaking for the majority. Well, if you want, we can just leave and let you solve this the way you want to. But since you were all starving yesterday, I think it's fair to say that in this situation you can't handle it on your own. So do you want our help or not? The villagers began to grumble until the elder slammed the base of her staff onto the ground.
Quiet your whining kittens. He's gonna help us and you're all grumbling about it?
She roared. For an old hag, she's pretty tough, and her frail form hides surprising strength. Accepting help from others who are not of our tribe. It is not our way, another spoke up. Well then, if that's the case, how about this? If this all works, I'll join your tribe. Then it wouldn't be against your traditions, would it?
Are you sure you want to do that, buddy? To join the tribe, you'd have to perform a great feat and prove yourself a warrior,
the elder warned. If I can bring peace to your tribe, that will serve as my feat. As for my being a warrior, my crew can attest to that. At which point, every member of the Griffin Pirates took a fight stance and growled menacingly.
The proof will come from actions, not words.
Very well. Should we succeed, I will perform whatever task you deem necessary to prove myself a warrior. If we fail, well, I don't think your tribe will have very much of a future to worry about, considering that's where it's been going. With grumbles and roars, the tribe agreed. And with their bellies full, their strength restored, they gathered their arms and prepared to march. 20 warriors, both male and female, carrying axes, swords, and spears of bone. They wore armor made of tree bark. They traveled on foot while we flew overhead to get a better view. Since Trixie could use magic, I replaced the arrows I had on my possession with more vials of every kind: smoke, knockout, explosive, and thermite. They would be far more effective. Ranged attacks would be spells Trixie would shoot. Instead, Gilda carried the arrows. Nadine, riding Maria, had a blowgun made of bamboo with poison darts from the temple, and her daggers for close range. Etch and Growl had gem spears with bamboo shafts. The gems charged so they could perform a basic spell as well as their bows and arrows. I had my chainmail, while Gilda had her thick leather biker jacket befitting of a ranger, while the dogs had their clothes for better mobility. Nadine was also just wearing clothing, and Maria was unarmored. It's strange how I never noticed it, but we're really beginning to shape up as a crew. Gathering more members, getting more better gear, improving our skills. I had instructed Nadine to help keep Maria out of combat, as we had yet to train her. We still had a ways to go, but we were getting there. Hold up.
What is it, Griff?
Gilda asked. Look there. I pointed to where there was smoke rising. There was a massive volcano in the distance, spewing hot ash, clouding over the whole area. We were nearing the border of the volcanic wastes. There was a village near the edge, or what's left of one. A great number of trees had been destroyed, blackened and dead. Burned. What the fuck? Is this the Romac land? We should probably check with the ground forces, Trixie suggested. I agree. Flying back down to meet the troops, which were surprisingly led by that old hag, I would have thought her to be a fighter. Then again, to live to be that old in a tribe of warriors, she's gotta be a tough old biddy. They looked at us for explanation. Destroyed. Burned. There's nothing left. How can that be? A tiger-striped woman asked. I don't know. What I do know is why they were stealing food from you. Their village and all their fruit trees got burned down. After all that all happened, all the meat left too. They're probably hiding out somewhere nearby. Trixie, shield! I called right before I heard distant twangs. Arrows bouncing harmlessly off the yellow dome as she brought it up. We all drew our weapons in preparation. Damn it all. If the mission goes well, it's an ambush. Lucky for me, I'm damn good. I called that one before it even happened. Romac! Reveal yourselves! I yelled into the forests.
Why?
A voice hissed.
So you can cut us down?
The echo through the jungle was unnerving.
The Romac can blend in with their surroundings. They hide themselves in the trees and drink strange brews that change the color of their fur from their usual tones to verdant green.
The elder mentioned to me. Would have been nice to know that before. Might be useful to learn how to do that. Alright, enough of this bullshit. Form of verses! A purple shockwave spread out of the gem, not knocking anything over, but suddenly revealing a dozen or so of the cats in the treetops all around us, as they changed back to their normal pigmentation. They all looked stunned that their cover had suddenly been blown. The Lemko were about to charge, but I held up my arm, signaling them to stay put. We're not here to fight. You enter our lands with 20 armed soldiers, not counting yourselves. Griffin pirates, we will not allow you to take our lands from us. The leader, I assumed, a black like panther. What land? Your village was burned to the ground and your food sources are gone. What reason would I have to take this patch of scorched earth from you? Then you would slay us for the Lemko, he growled. All I want is to talk. The way I see it, your food got torched, so you have to steal it from the Lemko to live. That's a problem because they were starving to death. So you'd rather my own people starve then? He spat. What I'm saying is you have a problem, which became a problem for them. If we can solve your problem, we'll solve theirs at the same time. And what would you receive in return? Pirates don't simply act a good will. What's in it for you? He was at least interested. As long as he keeps talking, I can work this out. I happen to have a fair amount of wealth and nowhere to spend it. I can't open trade with the tribes when they're so close to war, as they have other things on their mind. If I solve your problems, peace will be restored and prosperity return. You cannot rebuild our village, and you cannot regrow our trees. There's nothing you can do to help us, he said sadly, as though depressed. I mean, his village burned down, they have no food, and they're living in trees. Of course they're depressed. If we discover the source of your problem, we can work out the details later. What burned your village down? We do not need your help. We will not accept charity from an outsider. It is our way. He avoided the topic. Fuck it all, not this crap again. Pride is fine and all, but you need to learn when you're just being too damn stubborn. Maybe they ought to talk to Applejack? No, right, they don't know about her. Well, here we go again. Well, then, if I solve your problem, you'll just have to make me part of the tribe, won't you? Then I would be following your way, and yes, I already know, great feat, prove myself as a warrior, yada yada yada. It matters not. This problem is beyond solving, the leader replied. Oh, well, if it doesn't matter, you won't mind telling me. After all, it's my business if I waste my time trying to fix something impossible. And gotcha, you stubborn mule. Very well. Our tribe was destroyed by dragons, he stated. Dragons, you say? Suddenly I became far more interested in solving their problems. I thought that the dragons were all up north. They were till a while ago, when the dragon migration happened. They flew south in droves, took up residence in the wastes. They secretly began destroying parts of the jungle, including our home. The kitty was crying. Heck, all the Romac were crying. They probably lived in that land for a long time, and it had suddenly been rendered inhospitable. Do you see my blade? What? Do you see my blade? Yes, what of it? It's made from a dragon scale and bone. I made it after I slew a dragon. What makes you believe that I wouldn't be able to do so again? What? The Romac and Lemko tribe were taken aback, while my crew just laughed maniacally. Come now, on my own I slew a fully grown black dragon. Now I have a crew and 20 soldiers of the Lemko, not to mention any Romac, willing to help.
A black dragon? They are the rarest of all,
the elder proclaimed. Huh?
Their scales are the hardest of all dragons. A single black dragon would slay several others of his color kin.
Is that so? Tribes which had previously been hostile towards me suddenly gulped nervously. I love my job. Well then, Griffin pirates, assemble! Alright everyone, what do you think? This is unexpected and could really turn out well for us. What do you mean? Nadine asked. Think about it. We do this, we'll have both these tribes owing us a great debt. They're both fighters, one strength and the other stealth. And we'd be able to arm them with scale and bone right here. We basically have an army now. We could gather the other tribes, get a ship, and BAM! That would be it. We'd be ready for our final goal. What's more, since I now know that I could cut through the other dragon scale with Hades, that makes this way easier. We wouldn't have to buy mercs. We could simply buy a ship, and with the haul we have. I want to know your takes on this.
I'm for it. We'd be that much closer to our goals. This is a huge step. Besides, aren't we all about helping the oppressed? I'm in,
Gilda said. Griff needs dragon blood soon or he'll die. I'd like to see the tribes working together. I'm in, which means you're with me, Maria, Nadine said, causing the Griffin to start shaking.
The dragons? You're gonna kill the dragons?
She looked like she was about to cry. Great, I'm gonna have to find a way to make Feathershy here buck up. Oh, don't worry, we'll be fine. We do stuff like this all the time, right? The rest of the crew nodded. Nadine looked her out in the eye. Just trust me, all right? You'll be fine. Griff knows what he's doing. Besides, I'm also kind of looking forward to seeing him fight. I've never seen someone fight like him before. And let's face it, Carl was a pansy. I want to see what he can really do. Okay. Poor thing was shivering. I mean, she is just a kid after all. I made sure Nadine knew to keep her back. After all, I'm not sure how much her daggers and blow darts would help against the dragon. Sure, if we could get the scales off, but that's the issue, isn't it? I don't really like the idea of fighting dragons, but if it accomplishes our goals... and you're sure you'll know what you're doing... Alright, I'll go for it, Trixie stammered. She had the same look on her face that she did when she saw the Ursa.
You're crazy!
Etch and Growl agreed. Well, that's fine, because General Etch and Commander Growl, you'll be directing the ground troops. You'll both be well out of the way of the fight. I'm putting Etch in charge of the Romac Rangers and Growl in charge of the Lemko fighters. They'll be doing support, like shooting the wings and make them drop, and keeping them grounded. Don't attack unless you have a sure shot. You chickens okay with that? Gilda and Trixie giggled. They both nodded, happy at having new titles. General and Commander, not Scootaloo. Gilda, you'll pull distraction. Get them to look at you while I lop their heads off.
Always making the pretty one the distraction?
Yep. Trixie, you'll make us invisible. As soon as I cut through them, I'll need you to recast the spell. Offensive spells won't be good any here. Also, if you get an opening, toss some exploding vials into their mouths. After explaining the situation to the Romac and Lemko tribes, going over the plan of attack the next time a dragon showed up, we all prepared ourselves. Now, all we need is a dragon. Judging by a roar and a flickering orange dot we spotted dipping under a cloud of ash on the horizon, we wouldn't have to wait too long. I took out 3 gem wands and told everyone to cover their ears. Using the sound spell Sonar on myself with each of them, I yelled as loud as I could.
Hey, dragon! Come and get Get me, you ugly fucks!
Dear Princess Celestia, have you ever toured a glue factory? Sincerely, Griffin. Dear Princess Luna, do you like my letters? Sincerely, Griffin. P.S. I wrote 2 letters today, so the fun has been doubled!